If you have run with the footmen and they have wearied you, how can you contend with horses? That was a question God asked Jeremiah because he was complaining. He had asked Jeremiah to preach, and Jeremiah was complaining because the people who he was preaching to were not listening. They were wicked and treacherous, being disobedient, just not listening. In fact, they turned against Jeremiah. So God asked Jeremiah that question. If the foot soldiers have wearied you, how can you contend with horses? And for a while, that scripture baffled me because I thought that the horses were something like being diagnosed with a critical illness, cancer, being raped, being molested, being abused by your parents, the death of a child, a loved one. I thought those were the horses. I thought those were things he was saying. If you're letting everyday life struggles, people not listening, dealing with difficult people, such as your neighbor, supervisors, the classmate, parenting, being a husband, being a mother, being a wife, just everyday struggles, unmet goals that you wanted to accomplish but you didn't, and now turning in your middle age and you want to do things in your 20s and your 30s, but now you're 50 and 60 and you haven't accomplished the things that you wanted to accomplish in life. Those are foot soldiers. Children getting on drugs. You would think that's a horse, but that's actually a foot soldier. Those are foot soldiers, things that were meant to wipe you out before you could contend with the horse. All those things are car getting repossessed. You would think that's a horse because you done lost your transportation, losing a job. You would think that's a horse, but no, it's not. You have connected yourself with that job. You have identified with that job, but that is not a horse. That is a foot soldier meant to wipe you out, meant for you to take your life. You've been in a 10, 20-year marriage and now it has ended all of a sudden. You wasn't even expecting it. Those foot soldiers were meant to take you out. Now, if you decide I'm not going to unlife myself, but now you're stuck in depression, you can't let go of whatever it is that has happened to you. Not forget about it, but you are paralyzed. Your mind is paralyzed to that incident that has happened to you. Whether it's an abused child, now 30, 40, 50 years old, you still that abused little child because you haven't let go of it. You haven't forgiven whatever it is that you need to do in order to get over it. Or maybe it's the death of someone, a loved one, a child, a husband, someone very dear and near to you. You stuck there thinking about that person and wanting them to be back alive again, but that's never going to happen. Maybe you lost your job. You liked that job, perhaps. I don't know. But even if you didn't like it, you lost your livelihood. How are you going to pay your bills? How are you going to put food on the table? You would think that's a horse, but it's a foot soldier. And what foot soldiers do, foot soldiers were the ones that were sent out in the front of the line to wipe out, to wear out the opposition. They were there to wipe them out. You know, if they killed many of them, that's fine. But if they bruised them, left them injured, then that's when the horse could come in and just take over. Yeah. So now you know what the foot soldiers are. The foot soldiers are going to leave marks and bruises and gashes in you, lacerations. Because you're going to remember that because that bruise is right there. You remember Paul asked for that thorn to be removed out of his side. He don't want to remember that, but God doesn't want you to forget. Because once he does his work inside of you, you'll be able to help someone else. You could let them know, this is how I overcame that. It's still there, but this is how I learned to deal with it, how I learned to cope with it, how I learned to exist with it, right? So now you're probably wondering, well, what is the horse? If the horse isn't something major like the death of a loved one, a child, or being diagnosed, being told that you have AIDS or cancer, stage 4, if that's not a horse, then what is? But it's not, it's a foot soldier. Let me tell you what the horse is. The horse is not flesh and blood. The horse is the spiritual realm. The horse is your mind. The horse is beautiful and strong. So is your mind. Your mind is beautiful and is strong. But the horse also races. So some of us have racing thoughts. I'm one of them. My thoughts are racing all the way from back when I was a child up until now and to the future. It's hard for me to stay in the present. I always have to do something to get myself to come right back to the present. I got to handle what I can handle today and not continuously have my mind back in the past or too far ahead in the future. It's okay to think about the future, what type of goals you want to achieve, but don't think about the future where you're worrying about how you're going to pay your bill, how you're going to pay this car note, this or that is going to happen. You're thinking about something negative instead of focusing on where you see yourself. In 5 years, I see myself graduated from college, climbing the ladder in my job, something to that effect. The horse is the spiritual realm that keeps you looking at those bruises and gashes and lacerations and cuts and scars that the foot soldier has left. For example, that person who did you wrong, and now you're stuck there thinking about how you're going to get them back. Or you may not even be seeking revenge. You're still just broken over how they did you. Whether it's an intimate relationship, whether it's a parent relationship, a sibling relationship, a friendship, you're thinking about what I could have said, what I should have said, or how they did you. Or maybe you're thinking about that diagnosis that you got of that illness. Again, maybe you're thinking about someone who has passed on. Maybe you're thinking about that job loss or that supervisor who antagonized you. Or maybe it's that bully who did things to you. And so now the foot soldier has accomplished their job because they have you stuck in your thoughts. You're paralyzed to that incident or those incidents. You're paralyzed. You're stuck there. You can't move on. Your finances, being lonely, you're stuck. And that's what the horse is. The horse is spiritual. So now you're probably wondering, well, what do I do if I'm stuck there? You have to get focused to right here and right now. You have to stay focused on today. You can't go too far ahead thinking about how you're going to do this, how you're going to do that, because you may not even be promised tomorrow. I could drive home right now and get into a car accident, a deer run out in front of me, just wipe me out. And I've done all that worrying for nothing. In the past, I know I can't change it. But the foot soldiers have left marks there. And I'm always looking back there. And so what I have to do, for me, what I do, I'll turn some music on, I'll turn on the television, I'll start working on something, reading a book, writing something, write a poem, whatever, to get my mind from that incident. So that's what the horse is. The horse is the spiritual realm. That's what the horse is. The foot soldiers, it's many of them. And the foot soldiers is going to get you any way that they can to get you off focus, to get you paralyzed on that thing that is troubling you, that will wipe you out. No one responding to your post, that neighbor who ignored you, that friendship that ended all of a sudden, that relationship that didn't work out, and now you see that person with someone else and you wondering why didn't it work out for you? Why didn't they choose you? That child that is on drugs, that is not listening to you, and you raise them to the best of your ability. Those are foot soldiers. But you think they're so major, and they are. It's something to be concerned about, but you can't stay stuck there. It's not good for you. It's not good for your mind. You got to stay in the present. What can I do? What can I do in this very moment, this day? What can I do to help myself, to help that person? What can I do? God may touch that person and turn their life around, and you did all that worrying for nothing. What can you do today, right now, in this moment? What can you do? And that's where you need to stay at, right here. Focus right here in the present. Don't let that horse be racing. Don't let that become a racing thought for you. Don't get paralyzed to that incident. Whatever has happened to you, I'm sorry that it did. That person who did that to you made the wrong choice that day. They made the wrong decision that day. And my heart goes out to you. I pray for you and I pray for that person. Because whatever demonic issues they have going on, they chose you to take it out on. And I'm so sorry that happened to you. I'm often reminded of Mary Johnson. If you're not familiar with her story, you look it up. This is the woman who forgave the young man that killed her only child. And he was going to go to prison, I believe, for the rest of his life, but she pleaded with the court. It took her some time to forgive, but she pleaded with the court, do not let this young man stay locked away forever. And he did 17 years, and when he got out, she had a home waiting for him. She visited him while he was in prison, and she had a home waiting for him next door to her when he was released from prison. And you would think that a foot soldier would be your only child being taken away from you. You would think a horse would be that. You would think that would be the horse, but it wasn't. It was a foot soldier. This woman forgave the young man who took her only child. And not only did she allow him, she had a place for him waiting next door to where she lived at, she helped him get his life together. She died in 2024, I believe, and he was a pallbearer at her funeral. She called him, she referred to him as her spiritual son. That's the son God gave her. Now that's powerful. So remember, the foot soldiers, they want to try to wipe you out. They want you to unlife yourself. And if you don't unlife yourself, they want you to be stuck in depression, panic attacks, anxiety. And that's the horse that you're going to be contending with. The horse represents the depression, because all that's in your mind. Remember, it's the spiritual realm, not flesh and blood. The horse represents the spiritual realm. What's right up here in your mind? Don't let them win.